Hey guys, today we're recording. We're gonna be rating door frames. So yeah, this is the door frame that we'll be rating right now. Um, this angle is pretty 90 degrees, but I think when they attached it, like if you look here, you can see like they had to cut it off a little bit. It's a little like they didn't attach it right, and it doesn't match up. The grains don't match up, and that makes it like a little uneven. But for the first door frame having a pretty good 90-degree angle, I want to like give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. It's not a great door, not a great door frame, I should say, but it's getting there, and I think this is a good base point value to start at. That's not a door frame. All right, this door frame has got a pretty good 90-degree angle. The seam matches up. Like it's pretty like there's no they were pretty exact on their measurements. Only thing is the grain doesn't match up, and the gap. There's like a little bit of a gap here. I think if they shortened that, but overall I do love the grain. I do love the texture and the like color. I bet it has a great feel to it. I want to give this a 7.1 out of 10. I think that is a very nice, very nice and like rich, rich feeling door frame. Uh, right. So this has a great 90-degree angle, and the biggest problem I've been seeing with most of them is that they have a really bad gap, and this one has no gap in it. However, the wood is very basic. It has no texture to it, and there is no detail to it. It is also very thin. I don't think this would go into a real house. I feel like it's a little unfinished, and I think they could have done a lot better with the feel and the vibe of this door frame. I'm gonna give this a two out of 10, 2 out of 10, but it's not horrible. Okay, this door frame, as we've been talking about most of them, is that like a little angle seam that we've seen and how they have gaps in that. This one completely eliminates it, has that perfect 90-degree angle, and as we can see, the grain matches up because they have the little patterns in the corners. That makes it very nice, very open, and I feel like it gives it a lot more texture and a lot more character as a door frame. Personally, I wouldn't go this route as a door frame, but it does eliminate some of the bigger problems you have with normal modern door frames. So I would say this is a solid 7.5 out of 10. Definitely the best door frame we've seen so far. Though the wood itself is not my sort of feel, I think it's a good door frame from a neutral standpoint. Um, this door frame, actually, the grain, if you look at the grain, it matches up very well. I think that is great grain matching. However, the seam is very visible in this one, and again, it has that problem of being shaved down the middle where I don't think they were exact with their measurements. So this is again some sloppy interior work design, and I feel like the wood is very vibrant. It's like it's orange almost, and I don't feel like that's a great door frame color. And I think overall, like it probably doesn't have a good feel to it, and I don't think I would want this in my house. So I'm gonna give this a solid 5.9 out of 10. It's definitely on the lower end of the scale because I feel like the orange is too poppy, but I think it's still a decent door frame. So yeah, 5.9 out of 10. This door frame was a lot like that very bland like white oak door frame where it's very basic. It's literally just a corner, and I don't really like it that. This one it looks very interesting. I don't think this is a good door frame. The looks very CGI. It looks not realistic. Um the shading and gradient of it all doesn't match, and I if you look over here, this part goes up but this one doesn't. And it just doesn't look even. It doesn't look like symmetrical. It doesn't look like a good door frame. And I don't know what they're doing with this hanging out part. And maybe that's I don't understand that. Overall, this is a really bad door frame. I think the wood texture and feel of it is a good color, good texture, horrible design, and I feel like this has a lot of design flaws. I'm giving this a 2 out of 10. 1.9 out of 10 almost, but I'm going to give it a benefit of the doubt 2 out of 10. I don't think this is not a great door frame. That's not a door frame. Okay, this is your 1990s. I knew that we were gonna get a door frame like this. This is your 1990s American suburban door frame. It's white. It's got the little bar on the top, and there's literally nothing special about it, and that's why it's getting a perfect 5 out of 10. There's nothing. It's literally the iconic door frame. If you were to think of a door frame, this is what you think of. Again, my personal opinion, if it doesn't have that angle thing, it doesn't get a good feel. But the feel, and like I don't get the like what it should be as a door frame, but I feel like the texture, it's got that like door frame texture. It's like if I were to like physically touch it, it's got that door frame texture. It's a little white. This one's a little whiter than I would prefer for my door frames, but it definitely has that classic feel to it, in my opinion. This door frame is interesting. I like how like the upper part sort of pops out a little bit, and I love the gradient. I love the texture of it. I think this is a definitely like color, texture, the feel of it is spot on. The shape of it definitely looks like a door frame. Got those perfect 90-degree angles. Only problem is, again, I always love those little seam thingies, like the corners, and this one doesn't have it. But I think they pulled it off really well with how they didn't have it. So I'm going to give this a solid 6 out of 10. I think a 6 out of 10 is good. But yeah, 6 out of 10. I think that's a good rating for this door. Ooh, we got a double-decker door here. Double-decker door. It's got that a little too orangey. Like, as we saw from the previous door, it was a little more mellowed down. This one is a little too poppy, a little too vibrant. But it's still a good door. Don't get me wrong. I love this door. Again, it doesn't have those corner seams, but it has very nice 90-degree angles, and it is a very symmetrical door frame. Again, the color's a little too poppy, and with that upper part, it doesn't pull it off as well as the other one did. It's got a little too much going for it, or like a little too much on it. I think it's a little cluttered. Honestly, I want to give this one a 5.7 out of 10. We have been not getting great door frames this video, but let's hope we get some better ones. This is a great door frame. Those seam thingies are practically invisible. We're back to the 1990 retro style I was talking about, but it does have very nice 90-degree angles. I do love how on the bottom part here, it sort of juts out a little. I think that's a cool little flavor that they added to it. And I love how the 90-degree corners and how those edges were perfectly, like just, they knew what they were doing when they were making this one. I think it is absolutely amazing. So yeah, this is honestly our new high score. I want to say a 7 out of 10 door frame here. I do wish the color was more of a woody color, but this is a great, exceptional door frame, and so far, I think this is our best door frame yet. Ooh, we got another double-decker here. I do not like this door frame, though, because you can't really see it, first of all. The doors are blocking it, and the color of the doors, right? Those are the color we want, but the top part is white, and that makes me to believe that the rest of the door frame is white. I don't like that. I think you should just keep it the same color as the door. I think that would have been way better. I can't really get good detail on it, but I don't think this is a good door frame. I'm giving this I'm thinking a 3.7 out of 10 here. Not a great door frame, and I'm not going to talk or elaborate much on it. I just don't think it's a good door frame. This door frame has that, like, I feel like it would give me a splinter, not going to lie. Like, I feel like if I, like, felt this, I'm going to get a splinter, but it has a great 90-degree angle. However, those seam thingies are not there, and I don't like that. I also don't like how the edges don't match up. Like, you see a little outlier here, a little outlier there. This was definitely homemade, which, that's great for that. It was homemade. However, it was not fine or, like, sanded down as much as it should be. And it's just got too much of a not, like, polished look, in my opinion. I think, like, the setting that it's in is great, but I feel like if you literally just took the door frame, everything else out of the picture, like the fork, if you took that all out, the door frame itself is not not there. I think it's got a great color. I think the texture is not great, but it could get there if it was a little more polished. I'm gonna give this I want to say a 5.9 to 6.1. I'm not for sure on this one. It's somewhere in there, so I'm just gonna give it an even 6. Yeah, that's what we're going with, a 6 out of 10. That's just wood. That is a pretty good door frame. As you can see here, we got a nice 90-degree angle. Straight down, no shaving. They were exact with their measurements. However, you can tell that the coloring is a little off. Gradient doesn't match up great, and also like this part curves a little bit. Now that might have just been like a sanding error, I don't know. But I didn't I do love the 90-degree angle. I do love how like exact they were with a lot of this. Color, the texture, I think like feeling it, the texture would be great, but the color is just not there for me. I feel like if they polished up the color a little more, if they added a little more like saturated it a little more, I think that would make it a lot more vibrant, and I would give it a definitely way higher rating if that were the case. So I'm gonna have to sadly lowball this one. I'm gonna give it a this is a difficult one. I want to say like a 4.9 out of 10. I'm being very, harsh with these door frames. I feel like a door frame has to be a lot that it can't be. This isn't a door frame. First of all, there's no door attached to it. And also, they're like the medieval doors were rounded at the top. We're in the big 25. Ain't no door frame got the round top on it. This isn't like a this isn't like a dungeon, It's totally throwing off the vibe. This is like a dungeon door, and we're in like this great, pink pillows in the background. This is not the type of door frame we want. This is a 2 out of 10. I love the color, I love the gradient, but there's literally like I said, none of those 90-degree angles are anywhere here. I can't even see the top of the door frame. This is a horrible door frame. 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. Horrible door frame. This is another 5 out of 10. It's the middle of the road 1990 normal door frame. Ain't nothing special about it. I'm not going to elaborate further on that. Ooh. Okay. This door frame, personally, like I said, I'd rather have gone with like, that like brownish, woody color. This though, this is giving like the vibe it wants to give. It's got that side window bar. The 90-degree angles there are perfect. Their angles are beautiful. I feel like it just adds like what it needs to add to the room around it personally. Like I know I like have talked like if it was just the door frame. I feel like just the door frame alone is great. I feel like if I like felt the door, it would be good. The texture feels good. I feel like if I took a bite of it, I think that would be really like tasty. I feel like that's a tasty wood color and a tasty wood gradient. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a solid 6.7 out of 10. I think that's a good this is a good door frame. I'd want this door frame, I think that's a good door frame. Ooh, we got the sleek black door frame here. It's got nice 90-degree angles. Definitely seems manufactured though, not like man-made, which I think would have been way better. It has no detailing. It just looks like a door frame. So, I would say 5 out of 10. However, because of it being a little thinner and no added details, I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 10 simply because it's not as good as I'd like it to be for a 5 out of 10 door frame. And it feels like it looks like metal, It doesn't feel like a wooden door frame, even though it says wood office door. Like, I just don't think that's not a good door frame. I can't even tell. Okay. This door frame, I feel like it's out of the ordinary. First of all, that flooring, I'll talk about this later. That flooring looks absolutely disgusting. I feel like somebody just threw up and was like, yeah, let's copy that throughout the whole house. But that's besides the point. That door has great 90-degree angles, but for the room it is in, it is a complete outlier. It is the only thing of that color. It is the exact opposite. If that was like a door frame in a different spot, that would be a great door frame. So just because of that, like just on the door frame alone, not judging based on everything else, I'd give it a solid 5.2 out of 10. That's where I stand on that. 5.2 out of 10. But the room itself totally drags it down. If I was counting the room, it would be like a 2 out of 10. But it's a 5.1, 5.2 out of 10 door frame, just on the door frame alone. This is, I think the next door frame will be our last door frame. But this door frame, hate the color. That ain't a door frame color. For the room, sure, it's great, but for if I wanted that door frame, I would not get it. That is a horrible door frame. Nobody wants a pastel blue door frame or a light blue, whatever. The 90-degree angles are there. The seam, I can see it. We're pretty far away, so I should not be able to see the seam of the door from like how far this photo is. It also doesn't look perfectly even. Like I feel like this was actually like, human made, which is good. But I do not like the color. Do not like how it was designed. It looks like a normal door frame with a couple minute errors, but the color is completely throwing it off for me, and those 90-degree angles are not as good as I want them to be. So I'm gonna have to say 2 out of 10, almost 1.5 out of 10, but 2 out of 10. Ooh, okay. I do like how at the bottom of the door frame they got that little kicked out part. Again, we don't have my the nice little seams on these door frames, but that's okay. Do got pretty good 90-degree angles. Personally, I do not like how thick this top part is compared to the thickness of this part. I feel like the thickness to thickness ratio is off, like way off. I feel like you need to get it a little more even, a little more like at most you want to go like double, but honestly even double is not great because this is way over that and it does not suit what the door frame should be. The iconic door frame. So sadly, I'm going to be giving this door frame a 3 out of 10, and I think that's where we're going to leave door frames because none of the rest of these door frames aren't good. Yeah, no. Let's go until we find a 10 out of 10. Nah, it's too red. 10 out of 10 door frame. What would that be? 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 door frame. Honestly, I don't even think a 10 out of 10 door frame exists. Because none of them, fit the color. Like, they fit everything except for the color. Or they fit everything except the shape, It's just gotta have that good door frame color. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it off here. I think we got some pretty good door frames here. If you guys want me to do any other things you want me to, rate, put them down. Yeah, I think these were pretty good door frames. One of my favorite door frames that I've seen in a long while, though, for sure. Yeah. Cool door frames. Cool door frames.